Hi Sagittarius, this is your astrology forecast for January 2016. Thank you for joining me. I hope you had a really good birthday month in December. I hope you had a great Christmas, and I hope you're looking at the new year with a kind of renewed sense of enthusiasm and energy. So the first thing that happens for you at the beginning of the month is that there's a lot of activity in your second house of money and belongings. You've got your midheaven there, which indicates work. You've got your Sun, Pluto, and Mercury. So the Sun is your identity, Pluto is change, and Mercury is communication. Okay, so the way your money flows, the way your income is kind of appearing in your life is going to alter in some way. And the reason I say that is mainly because of the Sun-Pluto conjunction there. It will alter the way you see yourself in conjunction with money, and it doesn't need to be bad. It can be, I feel much more stable in terms of my money. I've never had that feeling. Or I feel temporarily, I feel that there's a temporary lack in my money, so I have to work harder to make up for it. Okay, so that is, I mean, if you look at it in a common sense kind of way, that makes sense with the month of January. After Christmas, a lot of people need to pay off cards and catch up a little bit. The Sun and Pluto, they are conjunct, which means they're together. They're 5 degrees apart on the 1st of January. They move closer together, and on the 6th of January, they both sit at 15 degrees in your second house. 15 degrees in astrology isn't particularly fab or wonderful. It reduces to a number 6 in numerology, and that's temporary kind of imbalance. I don't know, is it disharmony? Yeah. So your finances are shaken up in a way that you're not used to. Okay, the connection between those two planets ends on the 17th of January, so this is a big theme during the month. So often that can be really good, because when something that's really solid and stable becomes imbalanced. I'm struggling with the negatives of the word balance today, I don't know why. So when it goes out of balance, there's an opportunity to look at it again, and a window of opportunity presents itself and says, hey, okay, we can look at doing things differently. If you're on a fixed income and that's not enough this month, let's say, then you're going to be forced at looking at doing something on the side to bring in that extra cash. And that thing on the side could be a real blessing to you in your life, you don't know. But the necessity dictates that you have to explore it, okay? So that's going to be a big theme here in January for you. Mercury aids that and assists that, because Mercury goes into Aquarius on the 2nd of January, and it sits in your 3rd house. Mercury is the communication planet, and Aquarius is innovative new ideas. It's about looking to the future. So if you're strapped for cash, Mercury will say, hey, take this idea. Hey, look at this. This is another way you could do it. Da, 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 da. Bam, bam, bam. It'll hit you with lots of different ideas, and you'll certainly be inspired. Just make sure you put the practical action in to actually realize that then. And that's not going to be a problem for you, because you've got Jupiter, the lucky planet, sitting in your 10th house in Virgo. So whatever ideas you get, you're going to implement really well. On the 3rd, there's a T-square in your chart. That's between your rising sign and your Mars and your Moon in your 11th. And it peaks with this Mercury. So on the 2nd, you're inspired, okay? But on the 3rd, you're extra inspired, because the ideas that you get will, one, realize your hopes and dreams in terms of long-term, not just in this month paying your bills off. It'll be a long-term hope and dream. And then also in terms of how you can move forward in a fun way. So it's not just about plodding along, it's about doing something you actually enjoy. This to me looks like someone discovering their life purpose on the 3rd. In this case, out of a necessity, out of a lack mentality, or a situation of, I don't have enough. So if you're massively abundant, you will also have this sense of instability, and you can also look at, what is it that I really love doing? What would be my hopes, my dream career? If I never had to worry about money, what would I be doing? That's a great insight to have. Mars goes into Scorpio on the 4th, and that's in your 12th house. You're going to feel quite intensely about your spiritual practice, your spiritual connection. And I really feel that you might be hard on yourself, Sagittarius, when it comes about New Year's resolutions. You might be one of these people who really goes overboard with, I've got to go to the gym, I've got to get myself in shape, I've got to stop drinking, I've got to stop smoking, I need to stop eating meat, blah, blah, blah. There's going to be a really strong push and a strong emotional connection to sort those things out. Don't be too hard on yourself. We all know about New Year's resolutions. If you feel that intense about it, then something's off anyway. If you're making a genuine lifestyle change, it shouldn't be like, oh, I've got to stop doing this. It's not that intense. So really just give yourself a break. Maybe reduce the amount of resolutions that you've got. Instead of having 5, just do one thing, you know, and then do it reasonably. Don't be excessive about this kind of stuff. On the 6th of Jan, Mercury goes retrograde in Aquarius in your 3rd house. So the inspiration, the new ideas that were coming through on the 2nd onwards, that really ceases now on the 6th. When when Mercury retrogrades, it appears to be moving backwards, and you have to find new ways of communication. So this massive inspiration, you know, the muses dancing around you and just filling you with wonderful ideas, they leave now, they go on holiday somewhere else. So if you want some new insights, do it before the 6th. The retrograde lasts until the 25th of January, so it's about making do with what you've got. Neptune also sextiles your rising sign on this day, and I do feel like your working life and your family life is very, very solid and stable, and that's a nice resource for you to fall back on if you're feeling a little bit overly intense when it comes to your resolutions, your sense of self, because I do feel there's a sense of dissatisfaction here. You're a wonderful sign because, you know, when you're born, it's really, you know, the middle of winter if you're in the northern hemisphere, and you need to cultivate light within. You know, the sun, the summery signs like Leo and Cancer, they have the light from externals. There's fire in the world. But when you're around, when you were born, there wasn't. So you have a much greater light that burns within you. And because of that, you can be a little bit harsh on yourself and you don't really realize how wonderful you are already. So don't really beat yourself with a stick in January. You know, you're good enough. It's fine. If you do have an extra couple of pounds over Christmas, who cares? You'll lose them as the years goes on. It's not a big deal. And even if they stay on, yeah, I don't want to get into a whole thing about this, but you know, sometimes I've looked at my body and I've noticed like something that I've just not liked, but in reality, when I've lost it, it makes no difference. You can get really obsessive and focused in on these things. Jupiter and the North Node start to square the Moon on the 8th of January here. Now, Saturn is in your sign of Sagittarius all year. Yeah, all year, really. And Venus is currently in your sign of Sagittarius, and now the Moon is as well. So all of that is about examining and focusing on your path in life, on your faith, and on yourself. When it connects with Jupiter, it will urge you to take practical action to make things better. Rather than focus on yourself and your body and your physical being, I would look at making the changes in your career. That's where you're going to have more luck and where you're going to make more practical, have a better impact. On the 9th, Mercury goes into Capricorn in your 2nd. You're now fully in work mode. Money, money, money. Let's make things happen. Let's get things looking good. You're working like crazy. The new moon occurs also in Capricorn in your 2nd house. And Sag, I have to say, you're very, very lucky with the new moon happening in this sector. If you care about money, that is, because with the new moon pulling working energy into your 2nd house of money and belongings, this really sets you up to have a year of financial success. Because you're now so focused on work. I want to, not just work though, being rewarded for your work and getting a reasonable amount of pay. And all of that energy, you've got Pluto, Midheaven, Moon, Sun, Mercury, they all trine Jupiter in the 10th, and there's this huge amount, it's like meteors hitting your chart in your money sector and in your work sector. You're going to do really, really well. So the 10th, write down the ideas you've got about where your work is going, because those are absolutely 100% right, and they will lead to a lot of financial success and thriving business. That lasts until the 13th of January, and on the 13th of January, a grand trine appears in your chart. Again, that's in Earth. It connects the energy I just spoke about and that Jupiter, but now your rising sign in Taurus also comes into the mix, and it creates a real sense of talent. So you can really, really make wonderful changes to your working life on the 13th of January that will have that will create a much better future for you. For instance, I'm sitting here talking to you right now because 3 or 4 years ago I made a decision to work as an astrologer. So this is a result of that decision. The decision you make on the 13th will have a long-term effect on you, and if you decide to be a digital nomad and to work on your yacht and to sail around the world while you work, then that decision will have a long-term effect on you. And I would suggest you heed the messages on the 13th. Pay attention. Class is in session. The astrological class is in session. On the 15th of January, Jupiter and Chiron form a T-square amidst all of this other energy. And this is really nice because you discover you see your career or what it is you do, you care about if you're retired, you see that as almost another family member. And you love, and you look at loving that and how you can move forward with what you love, okay? You'll be surprised because most people actually, I mean, this is my experience, I don't think that most people, or at least most people I speak to, don't do jobs that they hate. I think if you hate your job, you don't last very long. And a lot of the people I speak to are kind of near what they're supposed to be doing, but sometimes they're not expressing it in exactly the right way. And having a career that is like a family member, that is like something you love, changes work. And I know it's so cliche, but you never work another day in your life. What you do is you spend time with something you love, like another family member. And amidst all of these practical changes you're making, now the friction appears here with discovering what it is you love, how you want to move forward with it. And I really feel there's a big change coming up for you in January in terms of your working life. So if you've been working in the oil industry for 20 years, you may find yourself doing something differently from January onwards. Mars opposes the Moon on the 15th, and this is a wonderful opposition because your Moon is in Taurus in your 6th and your Mars is in your Scorpio in your 12th. And you're going to feel reluctant to make changes even if you feel that they're positive and that you should make the changes because you're stuck in your ways a little bit on the 17th. Mars is going to urge you and say, listen, you know this is right, just do it. I know it's inconvenient, you have to pack up your desk and you have to pack up your existing business. But it's important to listen to the message of spirit and to embrace the practical inconvenience, because that's not something that you shouldn't be put off by the practical inconvenience. On the 20th of January, there's a T-square, again a T-square, loads of friction, loads of movement between Jupiter, no, not between Jupiter, between the Moon and Saturn, and that apexes, it peaks with Chiron in the 4th. Now, you'll understand, okay, if you're someone who followed instructions, your parents or your family said you should be this, if you're someone who followed those kind of instructions and that didn't work out for you, you will really get a lot of clarity on that, and you'll make some changes as a result. So this is a very philosophical kind of month or time of the month for you, because you're really looking at old stuff that happened in the past. So if you love tattoos, okay, let's just say you love tattoos. But your dad said you should be a lawyer, and you said, okay, Dad, I'll be a lawyer. And you did that, and you never had any success, and you were just like, you didn't do very well, and you had to take the bar exam 8 times before you passed it, and the whole thing has just been a struggle and a real drag. Then you'll really see that for what it is, and you'll start to feel much more comfortable and forgiving about the messages that other people gave you. Your dad told you to be a lawyer because he wanted you to be taken care of. He didn't tell you to do that because he wanted to torture you. And when you accept that, and when you see it in that light, it frees you and it liberates you, and it allows you to follow your own path. So I expect a lot of Sagittarian people to get much more happy and at ease with what they're doing in their careers because of what's going on here. On the 21st, the Sun goes into Aquarius. That's in your 3rd house. Now, Aquarius is, kind of your neighbor. It's Capricorn's in between the two of you. But with the Sun going into Aquarius now in your 3rd house, I think this time you start to develop some really some ideas that aren't particularly practical. Aquarians are very good at innovating and looking at new ways of doing things, but they're not so good at putting things into practice. You have got a lot of earth in your chart, so the biggest gift that you've got at the moment, Sagittarius, is your ability to take things and make them practical. All the stuff I've been saying about your work. From the 21st onwards, though, some of the ideas you're getting are a little bit naff, okay, to use a very English word. They're not the best ideas, they're a little bit harebrained, and they're a little bit impractical. So you might get the idea to start a worm farm on a Zeppelin. Don't do it, it won't work out. You'll have another Hindenburg on your plate. 22nd of Jan is a new grand trine that appears also for just one day, and that's in water. Personally, I think that if you're inclined spiritually, you will have a visitation, and this isn't to scare you or anything, but you'll have a visitation from a relative who's no longer with you, who wants to bring you a message. If you don't do that, if you don't work that way, I think you'll get a spiritual message that seems to be outside of yourself, that seems to be external, and that touches on something that was really painful in the past, and that allows you to dream bigger and to dream in a different way. So if I, let's say I go to bed at night and I'm with someone and I dream about my partner cheating on me, that will open up the wounds of past partners cheating on me, and that will allow me to examine the current relationship and to look at whether I do genuinely feel secure or not, or whether that partner is cheating on me. It's re-examining something by revisiting a past pain, and it has a positive outcome. So you have more, and this is all very, very vague internally. Nothing's going on outside of you. This is something that happens within. But it urges you to take another look and to get more clarity. Venus goes into Capricorn on the 24th of January. And this is an amazing time for you to start a new business, Sag. The good news about 2016 is that Venus doesn't go into retrograde at all. And Venus rules new businesses, new ventures, creating things that are of value, of beauty. It's in Capricorn in your 2nd house of money. So when you apply yourself to create something of your own, making pots or making mittens, what are those glove things without hands? Anyway, if you want to knit gloves, then it's a great way to start a business on the 24th. And it's something that you love doing. Also on this day, the full moon occurs, and that's in Leo, and that's in your 9th house. The full moon is a blossoming. The sun illuminates the moon fully and hits the round surface of the moon, lighting it up. And because that's in Leo, it shines its Leo energy onto all of us. Leo is warm, it's enthusiastic, it's loud, it's passionate, it does things. This is in your 9th house of travel, exploration, expansion. It's a great time for you to discover something new internally and externally. A desire to do something will appear, or a desire to explore a new country, a new area, a new culture, to learn something new. You're going to be massively enthusiastic. So, a lot of people ask me, when is the best day for me to start a new business? For you, Sagittarius, the 24th of Jan is awesome. 26th of January sees another T-square, so a lot of friction and energy in a good way. And this is between your moon and your Neptune. Okay, so again, you have good ideas about your working life. And if you're wanting to start a family business, or if you're wanting to start a business in conjunction with other people, a partnership, a group of people, this is the best day for you to start a business. So when Venus went into Capricorn on the 24th, soul traders, people starting their own businesses, people working alone, that was the best day. If you're looking to start something with other people, 26 is better. Jupiter, the North Node, and the Moon all conjunct each other in your 10th house of career. This is the best day for you in business to take practical action. So if you want to go to the boss's office and say, hey, can I have a raise, please? Or if you want to write a new job application for a job, or if you want to start a new project or apply for anything, this is the best day to do it. The gold and silver of Jupiter and the Moon in your 10th house of Virgo literally sprinkle this dust of good luck and good fortune and success and abundance into your life, and whatever you touch turns to gold. You have the Midas touch today when it comes to work. Grand trine in air on the 29th. And this is between your 7th house in Gemini, rising sign, so you feel very communicative, very easy spending time with other people. And this is a wonderful day for a gathering, throwing a party, throw a party, have fun. Connect with other people, go out with your friends, go sit in a restaurant, enjoy yourself, go to a karaoke evening, go to a dinner, have fun with friends. Doesn't all need to be, so deep. I know, although it has been a very deep month for you, and the way your circumstances look is amazing. The Moon conjuncts Mars at the end of the month here, and this gives you a very, very strong spiritual connection, and you have faith anyway, but I don't think you particularly examine your faith on a day-to-day basis. Do I believe? Do I not believe? It's just something that's connected with you, that's inbuilt, and that you carry with you in your life. But Mars really urges you to push forward and to strengthen and deepen that connection. The Moon means that you feel comfortable and at peace enough to actually pursue that and to do it. So that's it for January. If you'd like a private reading with me, either in regard to your work, where should you make these changes, what should you be doing, romance, relationship, anything like that, then please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the readings tab. You'll see the types of readings that I offer, and please remember to subscribe to the channel. I'll be with you next month for the February forecast, and I'm also here on the channel every day with the daily tarot reading. So have a great January, and I'll speak to you soon.